Hello Trailblazers! Welcome to a new type of video from me that combines my two favorite things, well-written story and theorizing. I present to you Lorecraft with Echo. Warning, the following video content is based only on Hoyoverse official information and does not include any leaks. However, it is incredibly spoiler heavy, so take that as you will. As always, I highly recommend you play the source material for yourself. But for the sake of a complete story, I will cover the important pieces relevant to the theory for your leisure. Due to the content of some of the videos today, I will let you know that there will be scenes with graphic content. I will provide a warning before the scene and a minute mark to skip to. It's actually going to be a chapter mark, thanks to YouTube having chapters now. At that mark, I will repeat the relevant information from the clip and avoid mentioning any triggering content that I don't have to, or any spoilers. However, please be warned that viewer discretion is advised. Many of you Genshin players will remember the first time you stepped into the story of the traveler and their sibling. In a heated moment of tragedy over civilization being destroyed by an unknown god, you had them ripped away from you and started your journey with the mission to get them back. But who is this unknown god? And what is their role in the upcoming game from Hoyoverse, Honkai Star Rail? I for one believe there is a connection, and an important one at that. Today I will use footage, characters, and in-game lore from 4 Hoyoverse titles. Those titles are Honkai Gakuen 2, Honkai Impact the 3rd, Genshin Impact, and of course what little information we have about Honkai Star Rail. It took so much digging and connecting the most distant dots. Honestly, I felt a little bit like that meme from Parks and Recreation. So please, if you don't mind, stay till the end of this video if you are enjoying it, and maybe even consider hitting like and subscribe. That way I know the hard work was worth it, and I can challenge myself and encourage myself to put out more videos like this in the future. So first, who is the unknown god? There are many theories circulating the internet, but the one that held up to my analysis was a character from Hoyoverse's previous titles, the Heirshare of the Void. This was a theory back at the launch of the game, but thanks to a new battlesuit in Honkai Impact the 3rd and a cutscene that appeared after those theories stopped rolling in, I believe we now have hard evidence to not only prove it, but to put together a timeline and solid theory that connects a single girl through every title up into Honkai Star Rail. The ultimate villain and antagonist is a corrupted orphan, an experimented on girl named Sirin. But before we talk about her, we need to establish the Hoyoverse. Just like Yggdrasil exists as the world tree of Norse mythology, Hoyoverse has their own interpretation. In Honkai Impact the 3rd, there exists what is known as the imaginary tree. This tree contains individual worlds, growing on each of its branches as leaves. But just as the tree is used to symbolize the creation of life, another entity needs to exist to be the yin to the yang. Enter the Sea of Quanta. The Sea of Quanta exists beneath the roots of the imaginary tree, and its chaos seeks to destroy the life that has been created. However, the imaginary tree, being a tree, seeks to absorb the sea to grow stronger and outgrow its reach. So as the tree grows, the sea consumes. To prevent any leaf from growing too much, a system known as Honkai happened. If one of the leaves reached what we'll call too much growth, draining resources the tree should instead use to outgrow the sea, the Honkai steps in and eliminates it. Basically, if a world grows too big and wants to expand outside of the leaf or their little bubble universe, as they're called, end of the line, Honkai takes it out, and it becomes another wilted twig consumed by the sea. In a very depressing way, Honkai is an inevitable fate for any bubble universe on the Hoyoverse tree. Remember that girl I mentioned before? Sirin? In Honkai Gakuen 2, a young girl named Sirin lost her mother to Honkai. Long story short, Honkai manifested itself in her and she became the hair share of the void. In this scenario, hair share is a word to describe basically a lord or someone with supreme authority. So she became the supreme authority of the void and accidentally destroyed her entire town, including her mom, who she loved very dearly. She decides that the world wasn't as beautiful as her mother said, and decides to destroy the whole world, thinking she can get her mother back. Eventually, it kills her, and she becomes a dormant core. That is, until she meets Kiana Kaslana. I will save the details on how it happened, as it's basically the whole plot of the game, but Sirin's Honkai corrupted consciousness merges with Kiana's body. The following clip is super spoiler heavy, so please skip to the chapter entitled God of the End in Teyvat to avoid having the end of the game spoiled. Do so now. For the rest of you, I assume you're okay with the video from Honkai Gakuen 2, so let's watch the clip. This is the end of the game. The now chaotic Sirin convinces Kiana that she killed her own father and drives her to madness. In a mental breakdown, the two of them become God, completing the cycle of the bubble universe and destroying it for good. Her core is then split into 4 gems, like the Infinity Gauntlet in Avengers. The cycle then restarts as a new bubble universe grows farther up on the tree, allowing the characters of the universe to undergo another test to see if they can last longer this time around. It's almost like the idea of regeneration, but with entire worlds. Now, you may have noticed some deafening similarities between the hair share of the end and our unknown god at the start of Genshin Impact. For those just tuning back in, we're going to show stills from the clip that don't spoil the story to compare the two characters, because I believe that is incredibly important in order to understand the connection here. The first thing I'd like to draw your attention to is the symbols on her wings. As you can see, these are the exact same symbols that appear around our unknown god in Genshin. There's also the eyes. The striking goldish amber eyes stare out at us, but these ones look almost bored? Definitely less crazy and more bored. Then there's the hair. It's the same white hair, and fun fact as an added bonus, it is also the voice actress for Kiana Kaslana in Honkai Impact III lending her vocals to our strange god. It's safe to say that we can in fact confirm that this being is Honkai, snubbing out a portion of the leaf that has grown too powerful. In this case, Kanria in Teyvat. But the outfit is different from the one in Honkai Gakuen 2, and the intent is completely different, as her eyes look a lot more bored and a lot less crazy. So what exactly are we dealing with here? And what does this mean for Honkai Star Rail? I need more evidence from other games. Let's take a look at Honkai Impact III. In this rebirth cycle, a lot of the characters stay the same, though their roles are different and the generations seem convoluted a little. Is there a Sirin in this game? Is there a Kiana? Yes, and yes. Kiana is actually our main protagonist right off the bat at the start of the game, and she does in fact come in contact with and merge with Sirin. Well, at least a form of her does. In this game, Kiana is a clone, and there are other Kiana clones. Without going into too much detail, one of the clones is implanted with Sirin's DNA, and our protagonist has one of the gems of Sirin inside of her. Enter the hair share of the void. No, like, literally. We've seen that walking style before. And her fighting style, are those cubes? The same types of cubes we've seen in our Genshin intro scene. In this universe, they are known as Honkai cubes, but I won't get too much into that now. What matters is this style seems extremely similar to our unknown god, and the references are all over the place. By the way, I don't recommend looking up this specific cutscene, as it is a pivotal moment in the game, and I'm absolutely not spoiling that if you ever intend to play the game. Another item in this cutscene is actually super relevant to Star Rail, but I'll be exploring that in another video if you guys are interested. So fast forward a bit. Some stuff happens and Kiana clone has the gem ripped out of her and infused into an imaginary plane with the super relevant item I said before. And that's not all. We see it again. So side note here, Kiana normally has blue eyes, not yellow, but more on that later. It's actually super important. We actually see the gem of Sirin activate inside our protagonist Kiana with that newly introduced battle suit I mentioned before that came out just months before Genshin officially launched. This battle suit is Kiana's hair share form that was introduced in version 5.0 of Honkai Impact III on August 12th, 2021. Here's the preview of the battlesuit in question, which unfortunately I have not unlocked yet, so please ignore the preview bars. I immediately noticed that this outfit is a lot closer to the unknown god. I mean, just look at that cape. Remove the accessories, that reminder of her friends, and you basically have your unknown god with some slight modifications. And we got a whole cutscene in-game of Kiana activating the gem. This is your spoiler warning. This is one of the most beautiful cinematics in Hoyoverse history. So I will let it fully play out. Another warning, this scene has some really gruesome death sequences, so by all means, if you can't handle that, it's okay, and you can join the others in skipping to the chapter entitled The Importance of the Eyes. Do so now. For the rest of you, I'm going to let this whole cutscene play out and add the comparisons to our Genshin intro scene next to it when possible. Enjoy the show, and I'll see you on the other side.
Kiana, 放弃挣扎。Bronya， 笨拙了。没有律者的全能，你不过是一个普通的弱者。给我放开他们！光有信念，但无能为力。住手！ 只是凭着所谓的正义感与善良，可到头来都是自我感动。你无法改变人心中的恶意，无法改变这个丑陋的世界。快着！ 一点看吧，你是不是保护不了他们？这就是人的末路。 我们都是失败者，不，人类都是失败者。我不会向你屈服，他们已经倒下了，你是最后一个。我才不要，他们从来都不会放弃。 现在轮到我去做我该做的事，去告诉大家，他们的选择没有错。你的攻击结束了吗？什么？现在轮到我了，没意见吧？ 为什么还要站起来？再怎么挣扎，我也不会 天哪，才不管你说的这些，因为他是个笨蛋，笨蛋不会放弃。Fire！
他改变了我，改变了许多人。今后，他还会去改变更多的人。我想见证那一天的到来，所以，
我们不会止步于此。从来都不美好，才不是。世界当然不够美好，但也有人让我不要放弃。他们指引着我。证明这世界没那么糟糕。我爱他们，也爱他们所爱的一切。这把剑连接着我们，它会烧进漆黑的天空，让光照向更远的地方。这就是我和大家的回家的路。Wave goodbye to the past when overplayed.
As we know, Hoyoverse doesn't do coincidences. The references are there, clear as day. In case you missed it, the gem activation specifically was the eye color change in Kiana's right eye. At that moment, she activated the gem and controlled the power of the second hair share, Sirin, without letting it control her. What would have happened if the reverse had happened? What if Sirin had instead controlled Kiana and they had destroyed the world together? We already know that Kiana, as well as other characters, have shown the ability to travel to other bubble universes throughout the imaginary tree in the Sea of Quanta throughout the actual story of the game recently. And if Honkai's goal is to purge any growth, could Sirin be the ultimate means to the end? Could a Sirin-controlled Kiana with access to the imaginary tree and Sea of Quanta then go on to destroy other worlds as part of Honkai's purging process? This could be what we see in Genshin. There is one other possibility. What about the other gems of Sirin's core? As we know, there were 4 of them, and gems can become cores, as we see in Hairshare de Flamesicon, with the core of both fire and void inside of her. Well, one of them exists inside a divine key known as the Key of Infinite. This key is used to travel between many world bubbles in the Sea of Quanta and has the capabilities of space-time manipulation. It shows itself as, interestingly enough, a train, much like the astral train in Honkai Star Rail. As a matter of fact, a person who interacted with this key is Welt a character confirmed to be aboard the astral train in Star Rail, the same one our twin lookalikes are aboard. So now we come to the end of our journey. How does the unknown god fit into Honkai's Star Rail? Let's take a look at the other side of our intro, our Genshin main protagonist. In the Your Choice trailer, we see a more modern look for both Aether and Lumine. We have seen a modern Aether look before in a scenic spot collaboration with Guilin, an area that inspired Liwa's iconic Dihua Marsh. The two bands on his right arm, as well as the yellow strap on his pocket and the hoodie look, all play a role in the aesthetic of the Traveler as we see him in Star Rail. But is this the same Traveler from Genshin? Obviously at this point, all we have to go off is the look similarities and two spots in the new trailer. One sees him having what looks like a trauma reaction to a chessboard. If you are familiar with Genshin, then you will know that each of the Archons carry a Gnosis, which is the source of their power. Each of these pieces symbolize pieces on a chessboard. The other spot shows what looks like Aether in space, grabbing hold of a greatsword that should be all too familiar to Honkai fans. Remember that special item I said was important? That's it. That's it. I plan to create another video breaking down how it exists in Star Rail, but that's such a deep story that I won't go into it now. We'll call that theory board number 2. The important thing right now is the location. Aether is not in a room or on a planet like the rest of the characters in the trailer. He is literally in space. This means that he somehow succeeded in breaking out of the bubble universe of Genshin, which, as Scaramouche tells us in Genshin, has a fake sky, into the universe that exists beyond. And not just him, his sister Lumine is there as well. So we have two possibilities. One, Star Rail exists in a time before Genshin Impact. This could be before the moment where the twins dive into the bubble universe and encounter the unknown god Hairshare of the End lookalike over Conria. Or, Star Rail takes place after the twins have finished their journey in Genshin, and they have resumed their journey traveling to other worlds. To me, this seems the more likely scenario. This is why it appears as if Aether is traumatized by the chessboard, and also why both of the siblings look older. But this would also mean if they could escape, there's the possibility that Sirin could have also escaped through another vessel, and has taken up residence aboard one of our characters on the Astral Express. This is farther solidified by this line Bronya says in the original trailer for Star Rail.
One of them is carrying a seed of ruin, which will bring about our end.
So where is this seed of ruin that will bring about the end? The end possibly referring to the Hairshare of the End, Sirin. If it's Sirin, where is she currently residing? It would have to be inside someone who has hatred for humans and thinks of themselves as a god, as those are her two defining traits. And thanks to a final line at the end of the first trailer, I think we have our answer.
Humans never conceal their desire to control the heavens. So why would I?
I think Sirin has learned her lesson and is now specifically hiding behind the minds of people who have goldish amber eyes to prevent her from being found out. Our enemy is evolving. So, in summary, Hoyoverse has found a way to weave this embodiment of destruction and Honkai across each and every one of their games. As Honkai personifies itself in this traveling bringer of chaos, I can't wait to see what implications this has across the universes of the imaginary tree. Maybe we'll even see her play a role in future games. Of course, this is just a theory I have, and would love to hear your thoughts. As Star Rail isn't out yet, we have no way to confirm this information, and in general, Hoyoverse likes to make nods towards confirmations without actually confirming anything, so we could be waiting on the actual answer to this question, solidifying it for, I don't know, 10, 20 years even. Do you think Sirin will play a major role in Honkai Star Rail? Sound off in the comments below. This was a really fun video to create, and I can't wait to give you all my thoughts on the great sword item and how it has to play in Star Rail, may even be super relevant. I also have my theories about where Sirin is now in Genshin Impact. If you like this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribe, as I would love to do more videos like this in the future, but I want to know that it's something that you all want. As always, you can watch me play Genshin and Honkai live on Twitch, or join my Discord community full of awesome Hoyo fans. I plan to upload more of my first steps in Teyvat on YouTube from a year ago, so if you want to relive your Genshin journey, that's a good way to do so. I'm also on HoYoLab and Twitter under Aetherlore. I hope you guys enjoyed all of the stuff I got to pull together, and hopefully it was a good start to get your cogs in your minds whirring and trying to figure out how exactly all these universes integrate into one another, because there's definitely plenty of evidence. I mean, to be fair, we have Dainsleif in Honkai Star Rail, which I'll put in another video because I don't want to bore you guys with even more information. The focus of this video is Unknown God. I've enjoyed going on this journey with you guys, and I hope that you've enjoyed it as well. Until next time, Trailblazers, this has been Lorecrafting with Echo, and I'll see you Starside.